Good morning, welcome to Fishing for Bees. It's about 11 o'clock, April 5th. Barely in the 40s here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So I'm shooting this one a little bit different. I've been inside of all of these, but there's something that I want people to hear if you're in the Michigan area, north of me. These colonies, some of them were close to starving. So you'll see later in the video when I was in there, I couldn't tell because of the population of bees. But they're very, very low on feed. I'm not seeing anything in the environment. If you've seen in my other videos, I put out a test feeding station. Warning on that, do not do that when there's beekeepers in your area that are in a nectar flow. If you're in a nectar flow, if you got honey supers, you don't open feed, period. That's it, you don't open feed. If you got new bees and your neighbors are collecting honey, don't open feed, feed your bees inside the colony. So that feeding station was twofold. It was a test to see what's in the environment. If they're on it, that tells you that there's not much or anything in the environment. They'll always take natural over artificial. And also if these bees needed some feed, it's there for them, although it's only 1.5 gallons and it's completely gone. It's gone in this yard and it's gone in our other yard, which is only 3 colonies, just 2 nukes if you've seen the video, and a deep. So there's not much in the environment here in Michigan. Here's the problem. When you look inside your colony, you're not feeding the bees, or you're not just feeding the bees that you see. You're feeding eggs, larvae, and emerging bees every day. There was not enough feed in these colonies to support them if we do not start a nectar flow here soon in the next couple days. Today's going to be kind of cold. They're not going to be foraging. I did refill the feeding station, again 1.5 gallons, because tomorrow they're going to be able to fly pretty nice, and the days after that they're going to be able to fly nice, although the evenings are going to be in the 20s. So just because they're out flying doesn't mean they're collecting anything. You have to be very concerned that they could be out flying, trying to forage, doing everything they can, not collecting anything, burning calories, and coming back and eating your reserves. Those foragers are going to come back hungry and they need to be collecting something in an environment. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing anything in the environment. Obviously, early in the spring with bees, you need to be looking to the top of the trees and see the activity at the top of the trees, less on the ground, more at the top of the trees. I'm really, really concerned about the feed reserves. I got inside of all these. Everybody, for the most part, got a hive alive, fresh fondant. 8 got some leftovers from some other colonies, and 6 got nothing. The nuke got a half. Even the nuke was actually worse out of all of them. The nuke was probably starting their trip down starvation, which can be 3 days long. So also with the feeding station, anything outside the colony, you got to remember, you're likely feeding the strongest colonies. You're not feeding the weakest colonies, especially like 8 down there. I'm not sure 8 even has enough bees to have much of a foraging force. Really, really weak, small population. Still alive. Everything's good. Everybody's still alive. But you have to be very, very concerned if you are on Michigan with this crazy weather we've been having, that yes, we're going to have some nice warm days, but is there anything in the environment? So we're going to show you what they look like in the inside of these colonies. And keep in mind that when I was in here, the populations, the bees, tons of bees, I hadn't smoked them down yet. I didn't know exactly what was going on. After I smoked them down, every one of these, except the ones I mentioned, got a full fondant. It was really, really bad. These colonies are really, really light. I'm not trying to feed them for a month. I'm just trying to feed them to the nectar flow. All right, so here we go. This is 6. It's a small cluster. Plenty of food. We won't need to do anything with this one. This is 4. I wanted to just take a minute and go over the quilt boxes. So the colony's producing heat, right? The heat is rising. It's hitting this top board, condensating, and then potentially raining down on them. So that's what these quilt boxes are for. It catches all that moisture, keeps it off the colony, keeps them alive. Wet bees or dead bees. Anyways, this is 4. And this is why it's so warm in here. This population is ridiculous. Always has been. For safety, I gotta give them something. This is 8. This is a single. Good population of bees. Again, for safety, I'll give them a half. You gotta look at the weather. You gotta see what's coming up. And you gotta look around and see if there's anything blooming. And I'm not seeing it. Not in this area yet. This is north of Grand Rapids. This is 1. Again, a lot of moisture up here, right? You expect to see a big colony. And that is a big colony. This is a lot of mouths to feed. They can starve out in 3 days. Now I do have the open feeding station. That's just gonna buy a little time, spread out over all these colonies. So they're gonna get something, half. This is 0, a little bit of moisture. Again, you can see the moisture is in relation to the colony size. They definitely need something. Super low. Here's the 5-frame nuke. It's wet in here. Nothing. Close to starvation. This is 5. Not much moisture up here. But boy, still a lot of bees. All right, so it looks like just about everybody other than 6 is going to get something. So there you have it. Like I said, I didn't really know what was going on when I was inside there filming, but when I was able to smoke them down, it was really bad. I'm concerned about people's bees in Michigan. I think this week is going to be the week of death and starvation, unless people are diligent and on this. Beekeeping is not just something you dabble in. If you're dabbling in bees, you're killing bees. You need to be monitoring your bees. You need to be taking care of them. And you need to be checking their feed reserves right now, especially in Michigan. Thanks for watching. Hope your bees are well.